Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, parents. Welcome to Principal's Update. First one of 2020-2021 academic year. It seems such a long time ago, actually, since we started these at the start of lockdown. For some of you, that's actually been 6 months off school. So clearly we're keen to get you back if you haven't been back already. And we've had a fantastic last couple of weeks. We've been open 2 weeks now for bringing back year 13 students back in August, and then inducting our new year 12 and new year 9 students in this week. And we're really pleased to be oversubscribed, and we've got long waiting lists for the academy, and more importantly, we're delighted to be welcoming back our new year 10s and our new year 11s, as well as returning year 13s and 14s on Monday. So I wanted to wait to do this video for as long as possible because lots have happened during this time. We receive updates every single day from the Department for Education. So the longer I left it, it was really important to make sure you're getting the very latest information. I'm going to start as well by reiterating this is coming out by video, but also a letter to you today, with lots of other links to useful videos and resources the government have sent out. But hopefully you've been following the videos online, even our Guardian article, to see that we've been spending a huge amount of time, effort, resources in making sure AUEA is ready for you to come back. And we certainly are. And we've been doing that, and we've been open for the last 2 weeks, which is fantastic. Okay, so we've still got social distancing measures in place. The school itself, you can see, is still segregated off, and all the corridors are lined up for you to be able to walk down, keeping your 2 meters apart. And that still remains there in the school. You can see it all the way down along the way. One thing we do have in place, we launched this, you've got a letter around this. We did this before Scotland, we did it before the government here did it. We made the decision, given the number of students in the small corridors, that we would be wearing masks down the corridor. So you must bring a mask with you. If you're coming on public transport, you need to wear a mask, but more importantly, you must wear them as you go around the building. So I'm going to put my mask on now. It's really hard to do this one-handed. And I'm going to head down the corridors. So I'm going to take my mask off at this point here because I'm all alone. It's safe for me to do so. But normally you'd wear your mask around the school until you got to your bubble room. Once you're in your bubble room, you may take your mask off. Once I've got the mask, that needs to be placed into my pocket, ideally in a plastic bag. What it can't do is just be left on the side because this is contaminated now. So please do look after that mask and put it away. You can do, and same as some members of staff, you can wear that mask the entire time that you're here in AUEA. You're also allowed to wear a face shield. And if you struggle with breathing, especially these, they do get quite hot through the day, let us know and we will look to manufacture you a mask. As a manufacturing centre, as an engineering centre here, we are already been creating all of our plastic screens to go around the place where needed, and also manufacturing masks as well. So we can help you do that, or you may bring your own in from home. So we're going to head on, I'm going to head down, we're going to have a look at some of the bubble rooms and some of the other things that are going on. We've been busy over the summer. There's been a lot going on, including additional building works. We've got our new classrooms being made. This is one of our study bases, our sixth form study bases. This has now been done. You can see how fresh it is. It's just waiting for the latest glass manifestations to go on. And we've got a brand new workshop downstairs. Now the plane has been finished. That's now been turned into a new education room. We have a one-way system in place. This one-way system means that I am unable to go down these stairs. You'll notice we've got no entry points here. To get to the ground floor, please watch the video that's separate. There's a link below of how to move around the building, but we use the back corridor. So I'm into a bubble room now. It looks very similar. It used to be the fact there was a lot less desking, but they've now been returned. Students will be based in their bubble rooms with students sat next to each other, facing forwards. This bubble room for this class, this is a year 9 bubble room for 9A. They will stay in this room the entire time and no other students are allowed to come into the room. It's causing us some real challenges to try and find space for all the other students, but it's a real clear protective measure for your child. If they're in year 9, they are in this class. Same goes for year 10, same goes for year 11. Sixth form have got the use of the other rooms around the school, okay? But for years 9, 10, 11, you are in bubble rooms. This is your bubble room. It's also where you'll be spending your break times and your lunch times. I know it's not ideal and there will be opportunities to go and get some fresh air at other points, but you'll be spending your time here at break and lunch. So you'll need to bring with you either a packed lunch or you can get a grab and go lunch from downstairs, and you need to come back to your room and eat it here, where you can read a book, you can use your mobile phone, you are allowed to sit and socialise, but following the social distance rules at break and lunchtime. You'll be working in these classrooms as well. And one of the things that has changed since one of my early videos is around equipment. So equipment, you are allowed to bring in a school bag now. You're allowed to bring your own equipment. We will have some stuff on the desk, but can't be shared around between students. But you are allowed to bring a bag with you with your equipment. And ideally, that equipment should stay here in school and not be taken in and out from home. Your PE kit, you will be having PE lessons. It's really important. Those PE lessons will be outside. They'll be socially distanced. We know the virus can't survive on outside spaces for longer than a few minutes, and we'll be using all the national governing body guidance for using PE. But it's important to get you out, to get you active, to get you fit. On those days, you will not be getting changed for PE. Instead, you'll be bringing your PE kit, wearing it, okay? You'll be coming that day and spend the whole day in your PE kit. The same thing goes after school. If you're in a football club after school and we're trying to get those after school clubs running as soon as possible, you can wear your PE kit all day, or you can wear your football kit all day, okay? So that's not a problem, you come in wearing it. Now, I would argue, obviously, we talk about hygiene in there and washing and stuff, and of course, it's nice, I run a school for the teenage boys, how many of them do wash after doing PE, but of course, clearly, there's the opportunity to go, and we encourage you to go to use the individual toilets to go and have a wash if you need to, but on the whole, you wear your PE kit all day. You won't be doing overactive, really high intensity activities that will get you hot and sweaty. You'll be working and doing some various different bits of pieces as well. So business dress, okay, needs to be worn at all times apart from if you've got PE. What I would say about the business dress is, on the whole, I've had vast majority of parents confirm to me they've got the business dress from Clive Marks. If you're having an issue, please can you email my number, my PA's number, principalpa@auea.co.uk, and I will also chase it with the company as well. If you cannot get the uniform, please do wear an appropriate dress, which is a plain white shirt, plain trousers, and smart school shoes, and come with a note from your parents and give that to your teacher, your tutor, your college leader, and we will deal with that as well. But apart from that, you should be, year 9s are in the new year 9 business dress, year 10s are now in the suit, year 11s are in the suit, as are the rest of the sixth form as well, please. So your grey suit from Clive Marks, white shirt with a tie, unless you're wearing the open blouse of also available from Clive Marks as well. So lots going on around the school. I'm going to carry on walking down the corridor. I'm going to put my mask back on again as we head around the school. Lots going on in here, building work going on at the moment. This is the new look that got filming them on the job. Working hard there, they're doing a fantastic job. This is our new hygiene room, which has been adapted now to be our new washroom, specifically as well for Islamic prayers. And hopefully you've seen my letter around our issues around Friday prayer at the moment. So if you haven't, please keep a lookout for that letter, please. It's been sent out, it's also on our website. But when finished, for those students who use this room would know there was a really old sink in the back corner. It wasn't the greatest facilities, we weren't happy with it, and therefore we've invested in putting some really high quality wash facilities in for all students, and obviously specifically for the prayers as well. So I'm on the ground floor. It looks a bit different down here. The restaurant is the main area that looks different, and that's because all the table and chairs have been taken away. So this is an area now which is for students to come and use a grab and go. Year 11 students will be allowed to have break downstairs, utilising the restaurant, and then years 9 and year 10 will have to go back to their bubble rooms. So I'm looking around now, and this is where the restaurant is now. It's completely open to allow students to easily be able to queue up, down here, easily through the hand washing stations, which you've got located at all the entrances, down to the servery, from the servery to then go back and go to your room, or for year 11 you'll be able to head outside. So I'm outside now. Remind you should have watched the video of how to arrive at AUEA. That hasn't changed. You come down, you come down the Love Lane entrance. So from there you'd walk down, and then you'd walk around the cones around the outside the playground. All the extra equipment. We've had CCF training today for the new year 9s, and you'd head all the way over on the wash stations. It is really important. You should have seen the video. You must bring with you your bag with your towel in. Remember, the evidence is just as important to dry your hands as it is to wash your hands as well. So in the morning, you come down Love Lane. You must be in at your appropriate time. The times have been sent to you, but you're arriving between 8 and 8:30 for years 9, 10 and 11. You'll then queue up, keeping your social distances. Following the video, you'll come down to here. You'll be met by a member of staff, and you'll be sent across to the sinks. At the sinks, you've got the ability to wash your hands really safely. Following the 20 seconds rule, wash your hands and then dry your hands on your hand towel and put that back into your bag. You'll then queue up for your next section, as we've shown you in previous videos, but remind you now, you'll queue in and then you'll come in the main student entrance, where you will socially distance down and the member of staff will do your temperature. What I'd remind parents and students is this: if you've got any symptoms of coronavirus, you should not be coming to school. Remember, that is a high temperature. Number 2, that is a loss of smell. And number 3 is that that continuous cough. And just to remind you, some guidelines have been issued around what the continuous cough is, because we've all had a cough. I've coughed today. Does that mean I've got coronavirus? No. What it means very clearly, the continuous cough, they're saying an episode which is lasting, longer than an hour. So you're coughing and you can't stop coughing for an hour, or repetitive, shorter episodes of coughing, but more than 3 of those episodes within a 24-hour period. So I'm coughing for 20 minutes. I can't stop coughing, and then a bit later on I'm coughing again for 20 minutes and I can't stop, and again another 20 minutes. That would be indicated that it could be coronavirus. Not that it is, but it could be. And at that point, you must stay off school, isolate for the 14 days, and go and get a test if you can have a test that is available to you. And at that point, then you can tell us you've had the test, and at that point you would be allowed to come into the school. Our aim is to keep the school open and running at all costs. We need your help with that. It's why you must wear your masks. It's why you must wash your hands, and it's why you must follow those procedures on arrival. I wanted to call out some fake news that's been going around. I know it's caused a lot of concern to parents. I've had many parents contact me about it. And that's this rumour, and certainly fake news, that if my child gets COVID in school, 2 things could happen. 1, the school could administer a COVID test without my permission, and secondly, they could call social services, especially if they couldn't get hold of me. Well, that is completely false news, fake news. Okay, we cannot do that. Okay, so let me explain very clearly what happens if we have got a concern. First of all, we're going to be temperature checking your child as they come into the school. So the chances are, the fact that we would pick them up if they've got a high temperature, they couldn't be here anyway. If they did then suddenly have a cough or loss of smell, or they were worried, they thought they might have COVID, we would deal with that by first of all allowing them to stay where they were, sat down in their desk, and then one of our COVID responders would come. They'd be wearing PPE, mask and visor, and the student would be required to wear a visor, and they'd be escorted out of the classroom, exactly the same as it would be if they'd been sick, to move them away from other students. We'd bring them through into our reception where you've all been to, and 9 out of 10 times, actually, what we'd do is we'd actually ask them to sit on one of the chairs outside, that's just outside, to keep cool, because if they're feeling really hot. Otherwise, one of our meeting rooms has been now designated a permanent COVID room. It's not used at all, only in the case of this emergency. They are sat there and they're kept there until we can reach you. And that means we'll make contact with you and we'll find out, okay, where your availability is, can you come and collect them, to take them home, look after them, and you would have to go and get them tested to allow them to come back into the school. Now, on the odd occasion where we couldn't reach you, we would then keep them until we could. If you're unable to drive and there's a reason why you can't get that child, or there's a way of not getting public transport, we also have mechanisms using our minibus to try and get them home to you. Again, they have to sit on the back of the minibus, they have to wear PPE, the driver on the front has PPE, our windows are open, etc, etc. We have all that in place to help and support that child coming back to you safely, so then you can look after them and you can work with the local NHS services to get a test. Okay, so that's what's changed. The other thing that's changed as well through this is the fact that the rest of the students around that child are not sent home. In previous guidance, it would be that the entire bubble, i.e. that class of 27 students, would also be sent home until we've got a test result. That changed this week, very recently actually, it changed at the beginning of this week. It is now they would remain in school until that test is done. It's why you as a parent getting that test done for your child is so important, because if the test does come out positive, other students who are in that bubble may well be sent home. That decision doesn't sit with me, that decision actually sits with the local education health advisor who would visit the school in the case of an outbreak and would actually make that decision, and I'd be advising and keeping parents abreast of the situation. As I said, we've got lots of procedures in place, lots of hand washing going on, lots of facial hygiene, lots of oral hygiene, and on top of that then the ability of bubble groups to ensure that I'm confident we will not have an outbreak here to have to deal with. So I'm just going to pick up some parents' questions that I received by email, and thank you so much for those. And if you have got questions, please just get in contact. Use principalspa@aue.co.uk and ask me the questions. I'm hoping I've covered a lot in this video today for you and in letters, but if you've got a worry, get in contact. That's no problem at all. We'll get back to you pretty much as soon as possible, and sometimes even instantly if we can do, and I'll get those messages to you. One of the things you might see different, this is the LDC, you'll notice that you've got certain desks which are taken out, so students are now socially distanced, but you'll notice there's an absence of some obvious things, which are keyboards and mice. It's an area where we're really concerned about that students sharing computer keyboards and mice is a way of passing on any viral. So as a result of that, and because of the type of equipment that can't be readily cleaned, we have removed them. What we'll be doing in classes is either providing you in the lower school with a discrete mouse and keyboard for you to use, or especially in the sixth form and for others, the chance to buy your own mouse and keyboard. And that might sound a bit excessive, but when I inform you that I've been able to get those and also subsidise them myself, that it means it actually costs less than a sandwich. That was my motto, very simply. Keyboard and mouse for less than a sandwich, £3. Okay, so same as a Asda, Tesco meal deal, you will get your own keyboard, your own mouse to keep in your bag and keep used. I think it's a fantastic deal, and we'd encourage students please to buy those, and that way it's another way of minimising the risk to you. So picking up some questions now, I've got some parents. So, will children have breaks and lunchtime still? So this is coming from Miss Core, so thank you very much for your email. Yes, they will have breaks and they will have lunch times, but they will be reduced. They're half an hour, slightly reduced down to half an hour for your lunches, shorter for breaks, and they'll be held within the bubble room. I'll be asking other then teachers during the day to take the students outside for a few minutes to get some fresh air. But we're also reducing the day down as well. So you'd have also got emailed with you is the new timetable. It will show that students on a Monday in 9th and 11th, in fact all students on a Monday will now finish at 2:10, just in this short COVID window for the first month or so as we get going through this. And on a Friday they will finish at 2:10. The rest of the week they will finish at 3 o'clock. Unless they're having additional classes which will run till 4 o'clock, and you'll be notified if your child is having those additional classes. We will be putting on tutoring. It's another question I've had. Will there be additional tutoring support? Yes. You may have seen the government announce there's an extra money. There's actually £80 per student that's been given to me. So for us, it comes to around £20,000. I've already invested that in a specialist additional maths teacher and towards English to help with those extra tutoring. So those sessions will be going on, and there'll be tutoring sessions going on after school. In fact, tutoring sessions will go all the way up to 5 o'clock. And we're awaiting the announcement of how the government's £350 million tutoring programme will also come into fruition. I've already registered for it, and as soon as we're able to get extra tutors into the school, I'll let you know about it. Will children have extracurricular projects and classes still after the normal hours? We hope so. Okay, and they're going to start on a rolling program. For example, the library will become open, the book club will open up again, with all of the mechanisms in place to ensure that social distancing and COVID protection is in place. But yes, they will do. We want to get back to normal. Football clubs will open under the FA's COVID guidance. Cricket clubs, all our different other activities, yes, they will reopen, and we will write to you and tell you when they're starting, what time they finish, and the information as we go along. With the ever-changing rules on the news channels about updates from the government, our class is really going to be staggered and rotated, or are they the usual time and term dates? It's a fantastic question again from Miss Call. Yes, they are different. So as I've mentioned, and you see from the timetable, students will be arriving into the school at different times. So years 9, 10, 11 will be arriving, and we can actually see now, it's perfect timing, we can actually see the new year 9s arriving as we speak, and they're lining up, they're being directed by the teacher, and they're lining up now to wash. This is their first time for this year 9 class coming into the school. So you can see it live in action as they come round on the one-way system, and they'll be waiting to wash their hands. So years 9 to 11 now start school at 8:30 as usual. Sixth form start at 9 o'clock. So there's a staggered half an hour gap between. We may have to adjust it. There's a lot with this. You're right. This court changes all the time. We're going to keep you abreast of it. We may need to widen that. We may need to lengthen that. Most of the sixth form actually is staggered throughout the day anyway when they have their lessons, and sixth formers only need to come and remain in AUEA for their lesson, and then they get to leave, whereas clearly year 9 to 11 have to be in here at the time. There is a change to the term times because we started back in August on purpose. We started back to get ahead of everyone so we could be ahead and to make sure that your child was starting early, pretty much in line with normal on the 7th of September. Otherwise, with the COVID procedures and to do the induction like we're doing at the moment, the staggered induction means that your child wouldn't have started back at least for another week, if not 2 weeks' time. So we all came back in August, and as a result of that, we'll be having 2 weeks at October. That gives several advantages. One, it's a key point where we think the virus may increase, so it gives us a 2-week viral window. Number two, I think people are going to be very tired after coming back after 6 months off, so it gives that extra refresh period in October. And finally, it's when we're also going to see resit exams from the exam issues we've had this summer. They will also be happening in October as well, so it allows that additional revision time and a chance for those exams to come on. So there is a slight difference to it, but again, that's all been sent to you today, updating the email, and your child will get their timetable of that. So make sure you're absolutely clear, and it's on our website as well. Another question is around masks. Will children be allowed to wear masks? Can they bring their own face shield? I think I've answered that already, but yes, they must bring a mask. It's compulsory for them to wear a mask on the corridor, and in the classroom it is up to them if they choose to. They can wear a face shield, especially if they've got breathing difficulties to do that. If there's a medical reason why your child cannot wear a mask, please, you must let us know, and we will deal with that. And obviously they'll have an indemnity card, which means that people know that they don't need to wear a mask. For some students, they require teachers to be able to lip read. Therefore, on those lessons, the teacher will not wear a mask. The teacher will be wearing a face shield, again, to enable them to be able to lip read during that time. How many children will be at one class at a time? Okay, are they in bubbles or half numbers? Is it normal? Okay, they are in bubbles, but they are in normal numbers. We cannot do half-size classes. That was a thing that happened before the holidays when we were in the first phases of reopening. We had half-size classes. Now that all schools are to be open under the new government guidelines, we are back to normal-size classes. Students are still spaced apart in pairs at 1 metre. They will be sat by somebody, but they're shoulder to shoulder, facing the same direction. Okay, but they are in bubble classrooms. That means that they will remain with those students for that day. We will have in the secondary school, and not a primary school, there will be times the child will move to specialist rooms. Clearly, our aim is you've chosen, and your child has chosen to come here to access our specialist facilities, especially in science and in engineering workshops. So we'll be looking at how we get them to use those specialist facilities, and that's in line with the government guidance for secondary schools. So I think that summarises the questions I've had so far. Hopefully there's a lot of information in this video for you. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you back to 2020, 2021. We are all absolutely delighted to be here. We want to be open. I'm absolutely passionate that we will remain open the entire time to absolutely get your children on track in their learning, make up for any lost learning over these last 6 months, and accelerate them towards their summer examinations, whether that be end of year or their actual GCSEs or A-levels. So I look forward to working with you over the next 12 months. Thank you for your support.